Shablot. Thank you so much for joining me on my channel today as I create with IOD and DIY paint. Today I am upcycling this amazing slate that I found thrifting, and I'm going to be upcycling it with IOD molds, the Jingle mold from the Christmas 22 release. This is Oh Christmas Tree from IOD's 2023 release, and this is Village Market. I don't know when this one came out. It's been around for a while, but it is definitely a great mold for you to have in your crafting closet. So I will be painting all of these molds using DIY paint in a shabby chic Christmas style. So stay with me, and if you have any questions, please post them in the comments below, and I will see you on the other side. So the first thing I'm going to do is put a nice coat of DIY paint on this beautiful slate with a beautiful sentiment. And I do feel a little badly about that, but I picked these up while thrifting to make them my canvas. So this is DIY paint, and the color is beadboard. And beadboard is one of DIY's beautiful white colors. Next, we are going to work with our molds from the new release, Iron Orchid Designs mold, Oh Christmas Tree. So I'm not going to use the full tree in this design, but look at this, the garland that I can use to frame my piece, and this star is beautiful. So the first thing you want to do when using the IOD molds is to put cornstarch in the mold, and that will help release the clay. Cornstarch on, and we're going to take the clay. I have IOD's air dry clay. I'm just going to take a chunk of clay. I'm going to warm it up in my hands. So just a little bit of warmth from your hands will make this clay very pliable and easy to work with. And you just want to press the clay into the mold. Make sure you get his little feet. This is a little ridge on top, and that helps us to smooth out the clay. This is the stick that you get with your IOD transfers. So this will sit right on that ridge there so that you can take off any excess clay without hurting your image. So you should see a nice crisp image. Let's do a couple of the ornaments. I think we are all set to start releasing these molds. The way I remove the clay from these molds is I turn them over, and I press with my finger to help release the clay, and then I roll it back. Okay, so now it's time to release Old Christmas Tree. I'll flip it over, I'm gonna roll it. Ah, beautiful. Look at that. I did have a little breakage on the molds, which isn't that uncommon. And so when that happens, you could just perform a little surgery and use some wood glue and glue them back together. We are going to now paint our molds, and I want to do kind of a shabby chic farm animal Christmas. So I'm going to paint every single mold with DIY's Prairie Gray. This gray has a really cool vibe to it. It's obviously gray, but there's some brown in there too, which goes with the Shabby Chic. So this is basically the shabby part of Shabby Chic, where I am just darkening up the texture on these molds, and then we're going to lighten it up with some brighter colors for the chic part of Shabby Chic. This is the shabby part of Shabby Chic. I am now going to add some chic by adding some DIY paint in faded burlap. See how much brighter that is? So I want to just lay the faded burlap across the top of these animals, and then we will do some wiping back. I'm going to dampen my cloth with a continuous mist spray bottle, and I'm going to wipe back some of this paint so that we can bring back some of the prairie gray. Paint is coming off right down to the white, and I like that because Shabby Chic, after all, is supposed to look like things are aged. I don't want too much of the paint to come off, but I think so far what I have, I'm kind of liking. After you wipe away the faded burlap, you can see some of that prairie gray showing us all the cool lines of this sheep's fur. But we are not done with this cute little guy yet. As we said, it's a Shabby Chic Christmas, so we have to dress him up a little bit. And I'm gonna bring in Petticoat Pink. This is our beautiful pink by DIY. So I think of a Shabby Chic holiday colors as not the bright reds, but more pinks, subtle greens, not the dark, intense greenery, but maybe a little bit lighter greenery, and we will get into the greenery next. We're going to wipe back some of that petticoat pink. After all, these animals live on a farm, so I can't imagine their pink bows will be too clean for too long. I am doing the same process with the wheat and the greenery, but I'm using different colors. So the bottom layer for the florals is going to be the faded burlap. Okay, so we have the faded burlap on the greenery. I'm going to add DIYs. This is a huge can. Can barely fit it in the camera. Do you know what color that is? Yes, that is Apothecary. This is the garland from IOD's Old Christmas Tree Mold. And I'm just going to paint this full up with Apothecary. It's a beautiful Shabby Chic green color. And we are going to be wiping it back. And so that's all the greenery. Look what's left. The ornaments from the Jingle Mold. This is Pennies from Heaven. This is DIY's Copper Patina. Definitely think it's a must. Look at that shine for your holiday crafting. This is a copper color, which is like more of an orangish gold color. And I am going to paint every single one of these right now with Pennies from Heaven. gonna go wash my hands and my brush. Guess what blue I'm using? I am using Old 57. I am going to bring some bright color into, look at that. This is DIY's Old 57. Cannot go wrong with this ever. I'm going to use the paint that's right off the top of the plastic, and I'm going to cover up my bells with the Old 57. And let that paint dry just a little bit. And then of course, I'm going to wipe it back. So we have kind of a nice little shiny bell. You don't even have to use the Old 57. They look just beautiful even with just the copper. But I'm trying to keep with this Shabby Chic vibe and the colors that I believe are good for Shabby Chic. That's why I'm adding some of these colors and wiping them back. For the bells, I'm going to use Bohemian Blue over the copper. And Boho Blue is DIY's dark teal. I believe in incorporating a dark color whenever I do a lot of light colors, because that kind of act as an anchor. So where your eye might be thrown by all of the pastels and the light colors, it's good to have a darker color to kind of anchor all of those brighter colors. So we're gonna now wipe that back. And yeah, they look kind of neat. Boho blue, the copper, some white from that clay showing through. It's kind of cool. So basically now, all I have to do is glue this on. Just using wood glue. And wherever the little clay pieces have broken off during me painting and playing with them so much, now is the time for me to glue them back on. Now we need some major surgery on this guy. I refuse to give up on him. I refuse to start over. I will glue him back together again, and nobody will know the difference. Oh! So this does not deter me. Yes, I wish it wouldn't break, but I understand that that's kind of part of working with molds and clay. If you do not want any breakage, the best thing to do would be work with resin. I actually have an allergy to resin, so I try not to use resin very much. But with the clay, it is fine to glue him back together again. Okay, I'm happy with that. So what I'm doing now is just going in with this Perfectionist new paintbrush by DIY. It's great because it has this point, and I need that point for this when I'm doing where I used all that glue to help out this little reindeer. I'm just gonna go in and clean up with paint the messes that I have made. And there's a special reason why I do not have the bow on the reindeer yet. What I'm going to do to the bow is I'm going to take DIY's Unbridled Love. This is their Bohemian Brights. I just want to add a little bit more color. These Bohemian Brights will just brighten up everything. They're a translucent color. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take DIY's pigment powder in Silver Lining. Let's sprinkle some silver lining on this bow. It will stick to the Bohemian Bright. And there we have a very special bow for our very special visitor, the reindeer. Now it is time for the waxing. I am going to wax this whole slate with DIY clear wax. And for my smaller projects with the wax, I use these JRV stencil brushes because they're nice and firm and they get right in all the places where I need to go. It's much faster and easier. And then once you have covered everything, you're going to want to remove the excess wax with a cloth. Now I have the DIY dark wax and again the little JRV stencil brush. So I'm just going to add this dark wax around most of the canvas. I want to make sure I get that dark wax down into the crevices of these molds, along all the greenery, all around the animals and on top of the animals as well, to highlight the details in the molds. Now it's time to wipe this dark wax back. I don't want to rub too much off though, because look at how beautiful that texture is by using the waxes. Next, I want to take some shipwrecked wax to this greenery. So the DIY shipwrecked wax is this beautiful verdigris color. So you just put it on like everything else and wipe it back. And now I do believe I need to put some gold wax on the leaves. In the end, I did decide I wanted to add some white wax. Can't get enough of my waxes, you guys. So I'm just going to go over the whole canvas with some white wax on a cloth, just around the animals and on the animals, just gently, because I don't want to hurt these molds any more than I already have, just to give them a little bit more brightness. And now the white is getting in there and showing some detail too. I'm not putting them on the ornaments, I'm just putting them on the animals because I wanted to brighten the animals up just a little bit more. Adding the final touches, we'll glue on some ornaments. And here is our completed project for the day. Our beautiful upcycled slate with the IOD molds and the DIY paint. I have to say that DIY paint is the star of the show. Look at that old 57 on top of Pennies from Heaven. I'm loving the DIY paint colors. And there's my little reindeer with his broken legs. And I know I said that no one would notice. I think people will notice his broken legs, but I still think he looks great. I could perform more surgery on him, but I don't think I will. I'll just leave him the way he is. And I want to point out the waxes. We used a lot of waxes on this project. But look at how the waxes bring out the texture in all of these molds and in the slate itself. It just adds so much depth and interest to your projects. There's the Bohemian Blue also on the Pennies from Heaven. There's my really shabby chic sheep where I sanded right down to the clay. That gives him such an old rustic look. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. We went through quite a few finishes, different kinds of finishes with the DIY paint, and hopefully maybe you'll be able to use one of these techniques during your Christmas crafting projects. So thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it, and have a wonderful, crafty holiday season. Hey, it's me again. I just want to say thanks again for watching my video, and also to let you know that everything I used in my video can be found on my website, www.shabalot.com. And if you would like and share, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much and have a great day. Bye.